Unlike traditional strategy games, Mindustry requires us to feed our base defenses with ammo. Now this is a fun gameplay element, but also can be a bit of a challenge. So in this video, I'll go through some of the concerns we have to overcome when feeding enough ammo to our defensive line. To begin the discussion, we need to talk about item capacity. So a duo can hold 30 shots. If I go look at their description chart here, it says it has 30 shot capacity and it takes, generally with copper, 2 ammo per item. You'll get different outputs based on your ammo, but let's just look at copper for now. So that gives us 15 items in there. Once the duo runs out of ammo, it needs to be resupplied. And we'll usually do that with a conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt only holds 3 items. Okay, so that gives us, if we have 1 conveyor belt per duo, that would give us 18. If we have 2 duos per conveyor belt, it starts to have to split its resupply capability. Now we have our titanium conveyor belts with our regular conveyor belts. They both only hold 3. The difference being the rate at which they resupply. So the conveyor belt is much slower. Past the first level, I would try to avoid using them as much as possible. And the other items we can use are router, which holds 1 item, but routers have their, that's a very small capacity for 1, but they also have a problem that we'll talk about a little bit later. Then we also have junctions. Junctions are a very cool option because they hold 6 items, so they're very compact. They're a great way to store ammo right next to a turret, but they also have the option that you can do store ammo in 2 directions, so it can hold 6 this direction and 6 that direction. That has some great properties we can take advantage of later. We also have a bridge conveyor belt. Bridge conveyor belts can hold 10 items for 2 squares, so that gives us 5 average, which is better than a conveyor belt, but still not quite the same as maybe a junction. We also have distributors, which they only hold 1 item. So you might think, oh, well, just use a distributor because it can distribute to a lot of things. Well, if you're only supplying 1 item to each of these guns, you're going to run into supply problems. Let's take a moment and talk about some bad designs. Starting first with distributors and routers. The problem that we saw early on, and a lot of new players run into this, is that they think, oh, routers are great because they can take inputs and they can output to the turret directly. Well, you run into a problem where routers output in all directions, including the direction that they came from. And so if you start feeding from one direction, eventually you'll get enough pushback that it'll take forever for material to make it to the far end of it. So routers have limitations. Well, distributors, they're just larger routers. They have the same problem. So what do? Well, if we add a space between our routers, that gives us a little space to not only store ammo, since routers can only store 1, conveyor belts now store 3, that increased our capacity by quite a bit. But now our gun density has gone down considerably. Instead of having, say, 20 guns in an area, we only can fit 10. Now another option is, instead of using conveyor belts, what if we put junctions between the routers? Remember, junctions hold 6 items, so now we've gone from only holding 4 items per section here to holding 7. Now that gives us a little bit of ammo right next to the gun, as well as some in the gun. That's better than what we were looking at up here with routers, which was only storing 1, and even the conveyor belts that were storing 3 plus 1 is 4. Now if we look down at the using bridges, bridges are kind of a cool option because they can hold 10 items, and so instead of an average of what we were getting here with 3.5 items for every 2, we're now getting 10. Well, bridges are a little bit more challenging to set up. You can't just drop them as easy, but they are an effective way to output resources to the turrets. Now, you do have to be careful that, you know, there's an input and an output side of a bridge. The output side acts like a router, but it doesn't push back. So that's where you get they act like a router, but they're not a router because they have a directional flow. So I've talked a little bit about the capacity of the conveyor belts and the routers, and that's important because that's the on-hand ammo available once the turret is empty. But we can feed more ammo via our conveyor belts that's sourced from our containers or wherever we're coming from. And so let's talk about how fast our systems can refill our turret. So Mindustry gives us this little red diamond that tells us that the turret doesn't have any ammo in it. So we're going to watch that red diamond. I'm going to go ahead and copy these source items. And I want you to watch these red diamonds and see how fast each of these compared to each other refill the turrets. I've gone ahead and paused the game, and you can see down here in the middle, this middle has already refilled the entire system. Down below with the bridges, we have not filled these last 3. We have 2 over here with the junction boxes. we've got 4 with the routers, and with the distributors, there are 2 that are not done. So by far, the conveyor belts are fast. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells me that the junctions are a little bit slower, and using conveyor belt is a little bit faster. The routers are definitely slower, and the distributors are not quite as slow as the routers, but I still wouldn't use them. Now, the reason it took longer to fill the ones with junctions and bridges is that the capacity of each of these is much higher. We'll see that here in a second. Now, let's talk about why I wouldn't use them. Well, you can see how this is stuttering as it tries to load up additional ammo into some of these places. This one is a nice free-flowing fill, and this one here you can't see the fill, but it's having to fill up all the junction boxes with additional ammo. And then the bridges are still filling. They're not quite all the way there yet. You can see they're backfilling the 10 items per square. So now the benefit of each of these, even though it takes a little bit longer to fill, is that you have more ammo readily available for the turret to use because it's stored on the block next to it. It's immediately accessible. Now, ideally, you would be able to have a container box next to all of these, and each of these turrets, and you'd be able to fire lots of ammo. The problem with that is that the boxes are large. They take up a lot of the space that you need for your turrets, and plus you don't get access to containers for a very long time. So let's look next at how much ammo each of these conveyor belts are holding. So to do that, we'll go ahead and drop a container next to each of these. They're already pre-filled with ammo. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to drop this container here, 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 and here. And I'll give them a second to go ahead and empty. So you can see here we only had 1 per distributor. There's only 5 readily available for the turrets. This one only has 9. Then we have 20 here with the conveyor belt. Then with the junction we have 51. So that's double what you would have readily available there. And here with the bridges you end up with 160. Now that is 3 times the amount with using junctions and 8 times what we had here. So I think the clear winners are these bottom 2 as far as having the most ammo readily available. And so I would stick with using these 2 every time I am building. So let's look more at these 2 designs. The most obvious problem with this design is that your duos are not highly concentrated. So your firepower, damage per second per area is not going to be very large. And you want to increase that. So how do we do that? Well, I have a solution here where if you take 2 of these lines and you stick them interconnected like this, you can actually create fairly concentrated ammo section. So in this case you'll have 3 feeds, and by doubling them up like this you now have all of your duos right next to each other. They're very concentrated. You have 3 feed lines and you can get a lot more ammo into a small area as well as a lot more turret. Now there's one more design that I will introduce at this point where you take junctions and you offset your junctions and your routers kind of using the zipper pattern that we've seen with a lot of the different early designs. So the zipper pattern is nice because it allows you to have 2 feeds here, and because junctions can store ammo in both directions, it allows you to store twice as much per square as you were before. So if we compare these 3 designs, I'm going to go ahead and grab these item loaders. We're going to go ahead and put them here. I want you to watch how fast these things will refill, and then we're going to empty them and see how much ammo we actually can store in each of these. Okay, so while that's running, keep an eye on these orange. I'm going to go ahead and delete these boxes here, and then we'll place them and we'll figure out how much we can actually store here. Alright, now that it looks like it's stopped filling, let's go ahead and grab our containers, and we're going to delete these item sources, and we're going to drop the containers, and that will empty out each of these rows, and we can see how much we will get out of each of these. And one of the things you will point out is the zipper problem does have the same issue with routers pushing back that we talked about at the beginning, but by pushing back it does fill the junction in different directions, and that's what we want. We want as much ammo close to our turrets as possible. Now, does it slow it down some? Yes, but it's much slower to get ammo from the mine or wherever we're trying to get it from than to just have it stored locally. Alright, so let's look at these. We got 57 here, we got 58, 55-ish. There's probably still one stored in there. So that gives us a total of, I think, 175 is what I measured before. In this case, using the bridges, we ended up with 513. That's a lot of ammo to be stored in these small areas here. And then if we use the zipper pattern, we end up with 190, 99, somewhere around there. Now, the problem with the zipper pattern is this doesn't have as close, the guns aren't quite as concentrated as these other options, And so if you consider each of these has 15, each of these turrets has 15 ammo in each of them, we're having an overall lower amount of ammo. I will show you this one because this design will be helpful in future videos. You'll see why later, but these other two do currently give us a better option than the zipper pattern. With only 206 there, we ended up with just as much, almost nearly that much, with just using the bridges. Another important design about this zipper pattern is that by doing the double line like this, each turret is actually being fed by multiple sources. Whereas up above, each bridge is feeding the turret. There's only one bridge going to each turret. Down here, because of the routers, you actually have loop backs for each of the turrets. So there's lots of different ways. So as one turret that's closest to the enemy gets emptied, it can get filled immediately by generally two sources. Now, not all of them are getting fed by two sources, but a lot of them are. So we can see the benefit of having lots of turrets right next to each other. We can see the benefit of being able to feed them quickly. Now let's go ahead and do another design. The problem with this design is that you have to feed from one side. It's very long, and so the natural option would be to put your feed from the left-hand side or the right-hand side and then have this end facing the enemy. Well, that means that you only have 5 or 6 that are within range, if you look at the range of the enemy at the beginning, and as the enemy gets closer, by the time the enemy can shoot you, these back guns are finally being able to shoot back, but that is not really good because you don't want to take damage. So if we consider another option, if we feed from the middle, these are the same design but shortened, and then we have the bridges coming from the middle. We can feed our copper in, it then distributes out to the right and to the left using these bridges, and you can end up with a high concentration of ammo and a high concentration of enemy with a much wider front line rather than a narrow front line. The next evolution of this is to increase the amount of ammo that you're feeding. By putting 4 item sources, you can put a bridge underneath these bridges, and you can get 4 times the amount of feed to the same amount of guns. Now this, I think, is a much better solution than this one here, because it refills your ammo significantly faster with twice the capacity. This is what it would look like without the turrets in the way, and you get, your 742 capacity in this area. That's a lot of capacity compared to what we were getting when we were using routers, or even routers and conveyor belts. Now, if we come down to this option here with a zipper pattern, you can do the same idea. It doesn't quite give you as much capacity, but again, you'll see the benefit of this possibly later on. If we look at this capacity, we end up with 404 in it's a slightly smaller footprint. So if you don't have quite as much room, you can use this one. Doesn't have quite the same capacity of duos, but it's still a pretty good option in later videos. So moving on back to this design where we have the 4-bridge option. One of the benefits of having the 4-bridge option is you can actually feed in different types of ammo, and they will go to different sides. So in this case, I'm putting in the graphite on the left-hand side. That means that my left-hand side will have graphite ammo, and my right-hand side will have copper ammo. If I do this option, I put graphite in the middle, then the back turrets will have graphite, and the front turrets will have copper. Now, what's the benefit of that? Well, if we look at the stats for this, graphite gives a duo plus 2 tile range, and so the guns in the back have a little bit more range than the guns in the front, and they can actually defend each other by helping to shoot. And you can see that a little bit better on this side. So this is the copper side, and that is the graphite side. You can see it has a little bit larger circle. Now, if you were to depending on how you want to angle this, if you want to have half of the side be firing a little bit behind the other, or if you, in this case, want them to be firing together with the back line supporting the front lines, you can feed 2 types of ammo with this design. I wanted to take a moment and look at the differences between the designs. So we talked about the long skinny option, where we can feed copper in the front and graphite in the back, so the back guns can help support the front guns at the same time. But you can take the same idea, and instead of having copper duos, you can put hails in the back, and the hails have a much larger range, and the coppers can support the front, and the hails can bombard from the back. This gives you anti-air defense as well as long-range guns in the same design. Now, again, the weakness of this is that you have to angle it so that your opening where the enemy is coming from has the feeds off to one side or the left, and if the enemy shoots the feeds, it's much more vulnerable. Now, you would put walls along here and defend that, so that should cover that case. But it is a little bit more cumbersome to get a sideways angle like this. This other design is a little more versatile because you have a nice front side with a lot of concentration of guns in the middle with a little bit less on the sides, but it's a nice wide damage area. and then the back guns have a nice wide firing over the top damage area, but your feeds are also protected in the back. So this gives you a couple options on how you can lay out your different turrets to be able to meet the enemy. Now that I've got the defenses down, let's run a few waves and see what this looks like. So you can see this is a little bit of a contrived example because I'm using these item sources which refill the turrets way faster than a normal conveyor belt would. However, in a regular level, you would have a drill that's feeding all of your copper or whatever ammo to your guns. But by having the four feeds as well as the bridges, you have so much ammo right next to the turrets that you can destroy the enemies really before they do a lot of damage. Now, the damage that's being done to these walls, you could repair with a one of these menders, or you could have units help support that as well. But this design will go a long ways in protecting your sector. I'll go ahead and wrap up with giving you the names of each of these. This one I am calling the Duo Bridge Offset. This one here I am calling the Triple Bridge Defense. And then these here are the Triple Duo Offset. So you can find these in the video description or at mindustryschematics.com. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or add a comment. And thank you for watching.